We have a return of a classic. Again. These came back not too long ago. They just can't quit these things. Hey, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and review on these bad boys right here. This, my friends, is the Nike Zoom Flight 95, also known as the Jason Kids back in the day, even though they weren't literally called that. It's just that he was the one synonymous for wearing them, even though he was not the only one wearing them. That's what I think a lot of people get confused when we're talking about signature athletes and signature shoes, is that there are team-based models like this, and they will have been worn in the league by everybody. But Nike would have used the most popular player to promote it. So if we're talking about the Air More Up Tempo, for example, Scottie Pippen's the guy, you know what I mean? Like, so like everybody's like, that's his shoe, even though it's not his shoe. So many big dudes wore that shoe back in the day, just like back in the day with these. Kid wasn't the only one wearing these, but he was the most popular. So he's the one that's most known for wearing them. But it does not make it his signature shoe. Now, as far as these guys go, I think these released right around 2014, I want to say, something like that. I believe I did a performance review on them. They are a clunky beast, even though they're awesome. And I remember giving them to my friend Aldwin because this was one of his favorite shoes growing up as a kid. Like, he had these when he was younger. He absolutely loved them. He dogged them, and then they never came back out, even though they did, but he never really like kept up with shoes afterwards and stuff. Most adults don't. There's man-children like me that are stuck in the past. But yeah, so when I was done performance reviewing those, I just ended up giving them to him, and he was super appreciative and everything. It would be funny if he was there. I'm about to go see them and everything. If I just give him this one too and be like, here, man, here you go. Another new one.
Please do.
Is this gonna be another one of those you bought those moments? Jeez. Anyways, these guys right here have an interesting traction pattern because as you can see, it's just a linear, or it's not linear, it's horizontal, but it's kind of like a radial, but it's not.
It looks like the bottom of a slide.
Of a slide?
Not like a children's playground. I'm talking about like sandals.
Oh, okay.
Slides.
Yes, I can see that. I was like, what kind of slide did you go down as a kid? This would have hurt like hell. Remember those slides with the tubes that rolled?
Yeah, there's a viral video right now.
I know, those were...
Sliding into Monday.
Those were hella fun unless you wore like a zipper jacket, like a zip up, and it wasn't zipped up and it got stuck, and then it was a mess. Not that I know from experience. But anyways, the traction on these guys, from what I can remember, was actually quite good indoors unless you were moving laterally. So it was like a LeBron, a current LeBron, unfortunately. Man, those 19s were ass. They're super comfortable, but they sucked. Anyways, we're not talking about those. We're talking about these. However, on an outdoor court, this would probably hold up just fine, especially because it's nice thick rubber, which they don't do anymore. And then the most notable feature is what we used to call the bug eyes. So that's this carbon fiber looking print on there. I don't remember the originals being actual carbon fiber, even though there's a lot of people that seem to think that they were. However, Nike would never do that, not even back then. That's not what they would use carbon fiber for in these areas. So it might have been a woven-like material, but probably not carbon fiber. And that pattern actually moves on up to the upper right here. This also, like, you can feel it. Like, it's got some texture in there, so you could tell that whatever it is was woven together. I just don't think that it's full-on carbon fiber. I just feel like that they would, like, that would be a waste. I do wonder though if the shank was actually carbon fiber, because that is something that they would do on a regular basis, even on the lower end models, which is something that they don't do now. But the cushion on these guys is EVA. The midsole is clearly well over exaggerated. I think it's really cool. Like, this shoe is a sign of the times, you know what I mean? Like, this is a 90s shoe through and through. And this is actually a dual purpose midsole. So not only was it for lightweight foam, but it was also for lightweight support. So all of these big old exaggerated areas in the forefoot and in the heel were actually basically used as heel counters or sculpting to keep you on the footbed so you wouldn't slide off and everything. So you can see this one right here. These are huge, okay? Just looking at them like that, I'm like, man, I can't believe that we wore stuff like this back then, but it's cool. Not only that, there was actually two versions of these. There was this one, which was considered the low, and then there was a high version. Those ones are hecka funny looking. And I think, was it Brentberry? I always get the two brothers confused. Let me double check real quick. Yeah, it was Brentberry, 1996. He dunked from the free throw line. He was actually in the dunk contest. And I believe he wore these, and I'm looking at the picture right now. He did. He wore the white and red ones though. Look at that man. Look at how happy he looks too, soaring up there like that.
He looks like a cheerleader.
So inspirational. It's because he didn't take off his jacket. He thought he was being slick. He was like, you know what somebody hasn't done yet with free throw line dunk? Everybody's like, what? Wore a jacket?
Whoa, dream big.
Like, I remember when MJ did that the first time, when he did it in the Air Jordan 1s, it was up against Dominique Wilkins, who was at the time the dunk contest champ, and that year too. And he was like known as the best dunker at the time. Dominique was known for free throw line dunking, even though he didn't quite jump off the free throw line like MJ did. MJ made it a point, he put tape on the thing. He was like, that's where my starting point is. But MJ's whole thing with the free throw line dunk, the reason why he feels like he did it better is because nobody up until that point had actually done it in a way to where it would have been a regulated move, because he dribbled the ball up the court, picked it up, gathered, two-step jump instead of what Dominique would do, which is just run with the ball and then jump. So he did it a little bit more legitimately. But
the other guy was like a football player running down and then
just
jumping.
going, yeah, trying to get speed and get some air and everything. MJ did it a little bit more gracefully. Brent Barry did it with a jacket on, and there you go. Now, in addition to the Phylon foam, we also have a zoom unit in the forefoot and an air sole unit in the heel. Something that we actually just talked about in the first basketball shoe to feature Nike's Zoom Air.
The Go LWP?
Ergo LWP, yep. So that was the first shoe to use Zoom Air, even though at the time it was called Tensile Air, but this was the first shoe to use it to where they did the name change. So technically, this is the first shoe with Zoom Air, even though it's not. Now, the materials on these guys is pretty crappy. So yeah, it's a Nike sportswear shoe. They come out of the box super dusty, per usual. It's synthetic nubuck, synthetic leather toe rand, you know, the faux carbon fiber wrap, nothing special. And if you're trying to play in these, just know that they are clunky, they're not smooth, they don't got the greatest traction. It's a 90s shoe through and through, not the best. Now, as far as sizing is concerned, they do fit true to size, so whatever you typically wear, that's exactly what I would go with. I think they are very comfortable for what they are. I know that they don't look like they would be, but they are very comfortable. And they have not actually released stateside just yet, but they did release overseas, and that's where I was able to get these from our good friends over at ID for Shoes. So if you were interested in grabbing a pair now, we'll leave a link down below in the description box. I've done a lot of videos today, but there's gonna be a link down there, so if you were interested in grabbing a pair of these, which I don't see new generation sneakerheads liking these even a little bit. But feel free, if you're a new guy or girl, to let me know what you think about these specifically, because I just need to know, especially when you compare them to like modern lightweight shoes. This looks like a brick to play in.
Did these come out alongside the Air Bacons, like in that time genre? Yep. Only because I see these little like lines now that I'm holding them.
I love you a little bit more right now. I'm just saying. She knew what the Air Bacons were. Yeah, be jealous. But anyways, that pretty much takes care of it for these guys. Again, this is the Nike Zoom Flight 95. It's a classic, returned once again. I would have rather have seen the Air Bacons. I need a new pair of those. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. Let us know what you think about these down below in the comment section. And until next time, guys, have a good one.
R is the most menacing letter.
Why?
It's like a thing in the written language. That's why Allan Poe, he has a raven say nevermore, because it's a lot of R's, and that's why it's called murder and not muck duck. It's a line from The Office, because C's and K's are funny sounding letters. They make things funny, but R's are menacing.
So my name is funny?
It's hilarious. Christopher.
If that goes in the video, I'm gonna kill you. How's that for menacing? So.